guys. It's Dr. Scott.
And Dr. Shiloh.
Welcome back to episode 6 of LA Not So Confidential. I'm really sorry that it's been this long since we got another episode out. It's not my fault. It's Shiloh's fault.
I think the last 2 episodes we keep apologizing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's our regular thing. But it really is Shiloh's fault. It's not my fault. You had some sports thing.
What?
You had some sport thing. We were supposed to record on a Sunday, and there was some what was that?
The Super Bowl.
What is that?
Don't look at me with that deadpan face.
Is that what sport is that? That's the one called that's the football. That's the one where they chase the ball with their feet, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's the one. It's not the one with the sticks. It's football, right?
Yes. You're right.
That's literally as much as I know about football. And I was a cheerleader for the USFL Birmingham Stallions. I know nothing about football.
When I was a cheerleader in high school, they would yell at me, "Shiloh, it's time to do the routine," and I'd be standing there just watching the football game.
I just snorted. That's awesome.
No, we both have been traveling.
Yeah.
And we our real jobs take up a lot of time. It's hard to get together.
They do. And we're in lovely downtown, close to downtown, suburb of Los Angeles right now. So.
Yeah. So we're back.
So this week, the focus of our episode is going to be on therapists, psychologists, mental health professionals portrayed in media and in entertainment. So we're going to talk not too much about, a little bit about pundits, people who are invited to come on and make commentary, because that's kind of a big deal right now, with people making commentary on conjecture of what they believe a public figure's or a celebrity's mental health status is. That's been going on for years, actually.
Did you guys talk about that in grad school at all, as far as...
No, it never came up.
Should you stay away from that, or what it means to your career to do something like that?
I remember having we didn't get it in school, but we had a supervisor that said, I would, you really need to be careful about that.
Right.
And I can see both sides of it, but I think that there's some value in making commentary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll say that there's one, do you know Keith Abloh?
No.
Dr. Keith Abloh. No. He's on a particular news channel a lot, and the guy is a complete quack. I mean, just in everything that comes out of his mouth is like, I don't even know how he has a license. I really don't even know how he has a license. That
was really the warning to us, just to, not be a talking head. And I think it was more in kind of ethics based. You don't want to get on TV and, ever analyze anyone that is not sitting in front of you that you're doing an assessment on.
Okay, but interestingly enough, because we as forensic psychologists, that is something that we do. The times that I've testified and I've had to go, when I've had to go on the stand as someone who has had multiple interactions with someone who's severely mentally ill and a danger to themselves, a danger to others, we have a hearsay law that says, well, you can't use anything that's hearsay. It has to be about your interactions only.
Right.
And my counter to that, and it has worked a couple of times, has been, well, then you're negating my entire training, because my training is for me to look at all of the information.
Sure. From
these multiple sources and put together, put together a profile, not saying that I'm profiling, but put together a profile. And in spite of how this person is presenting to you right now, what's their likelihood of continuing these behaviors or decompensating in the community? Sure. So I think we get a mixed message.
I do too. And there are some areas of our discipline where we do have to do that. And it's how you verbalize the information that you're giving. Here are my observations about this person, and that could mean that they could, whatever it is that you're trying to...
Because you're commenting on behaviors.
You're commenting on behaviors and your direct observations, but if you're not doing, you're not giving assessment tools to go along with that, just like you couldn't if you were, trying to decipher someone's personality or assess them psychologically on television or through television. You would just have to go off of observations and say that people who act like this typically have this type of disorder or something like that. Not saying,
and that was my supervision as well years ago was
right.
if you speak in terms of the behavior and speaking in almost in metaphor. Well, or a person who acts this way has a tendency to be ...
Well, we even write our reports that way. A lot of time, it's
right.
Individuals that score like this tend to act like this.
Right.
But yeah, I remember after graduating, and I was working for a company doing trainings for law enforcement, and they were really just kind of starting and getting on their feet as a company. Them calling me up and saying, "Hey, would you ever want to?" If they need somebody for the news or to comment on something, is that something that we could put your name out there for? And I was like, nope. I don't know. I was not interested. And I think not having the confidence, that was a good move for me to say no.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, my journey through that as somebody who was a performer for a while, and having some insight into hopefully some insight after this much work, is the idea that, that was really attractive at first.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of appealing to a part of me that I feel like probably now is somewhat more evolved.
Right.
And also because I'm so passionate about the work that I do in other areas. It's like, who has time to do that?
Oh,
right.
I know.
And I think that there are some people we didn't even really talk about commenters.
True.
For today, but there are some great ones out there.
Yeah.
Is it Catherine Ragsland? She's on the Netflix. There's a Netflix show, Occult Crimes, that is being produced out of France.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, which is interesting because they have some European psychiatrists and psychologists that they subtitle and translate. And Catherine Ragland has some commentary that I think is done really well.
Yeah.
And she's commenting on what she's seeing in the reports and the paperwork and the history and stuff. So I think that's very interesting.
Well, and at the end of the day, you don't get a choice of how it's edited either. So, you and I have complete control over this, or so we think.
Yeah. Well, that's something, but that was a thing that was amazing to me working in post-production, is how much control a producer and an editor working together in an editing bay have over the final. It's sort of legendary. They talk about Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe could have moments of brilliance, but overall she was incredibly inconsistent. But they got enough footage to where a really talented editor could put together this amazing performance. So that's kind of cool. But in this world of reality television and, getting the most salacious thing out there.
Exactly.
Especially with reality, what's going on is it's all fake.
All reality.
I hope people know it's all scripted,
edited, performed. Yeah. So this topic, we had put it out there, I think, on Facebook and Twitter a while ago, asking people, hey, what are some prominent roles of therapists that you remember in films that were either ridiculous or you just want thoughts about how they went about doing their job. And we kind of sat on this for a while. And then this new Fox TV show, 911, started up, which I wanted to be excited about because I think it's from the creators of American Horror Story.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, this is going to probably be done fairly well. I tend not to watch TV shows about first responders anyway, but it looked good.
Why is that?
Probably for a lot of the same reason we're going to get into today, but it just because I know the job so well, it drives me nuts to watch it. I just wanted it to be good, and I got through one episode. It was okay. And then there's this episode where a young firefighter has a couple of tragic situations on a shift, and he's sitting down with sort of the older mentor firefighter, and the older gentleman says, you don't have to talk to me, but you need to talk to someone, and hands him a business card. And I thought,
is this the kid from the Badlands? Isn't this is he the sex addict?
Yes.
Okay. So before we even get to that episode, and I enjoy it because I don't have as much of that specific emergency responder as you
Right.
have in your law enforcement background. So I can suspend disbelief,
Oh my
except
gosh.
for the damn driving he's, trying to hook up with a girl he saw in a car. So he's driving a fire truck.
Chasing
through-
up to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you kidding
it's
me?
insane. A single guy with this long ass fire truck and he's careening through downtown LA. And that is just like,
Yeah.
that was that.
There's so much about it. But so I thought, fantastic. He's going to go to a psychologist. And he does. And by the end of the session, they're having sex in her office.
I didn't see that one.
So here I had such high hopes. And once again, as we'll see, just sexualization of mental health clinicians. And especially in this kind of first responder dynamic. So, I mean, you remember The Departed.
It's disturbing.
I mean, that.
Well, The Departed pisses me off because I'm
There's
like, if I could stalk Vera Farmiga, I would.
I love
think
her.
She's freaking amazingly
I
talented.
love her.
I don't know, and I'm not really sure why I like her so much. I think it's because she's non-traditionally beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and every character she has is very strong,
Yes.
and she makes bold choices. And
Yes.
and in The Departed, I'm totally on board with it. When I first meet her as a therapist, and she's not taking any shit
Yep.
off Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yep.
I'm like,
Her little
yes.
3-piece suit outfit. I love it.
yeah, she's great. And then what does she ends up sleeping with both of them?
Well, yeah, she ends up starting a relationship with Matt Damon. They eventually like move in together. But then
I guess the Board of Behavioral Sciences in Massachusetts is different from California.
and then she gives Leo like a prescription for drugs just because he asked for it. It's
Oh,
like, here.
what was it? Xanax? She's
Something like- yeah.
I was like, okay, well, shut up, and I'll just give.
Yeah,
will you
fine.
shut up if I give you this?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
And then he shows up to her house and they end up having sex, as she's like kind of torn. Do I move in with Matt Damon? And I mean,
It's
hey,
just-
if Leo and Matt are in front of you, no.
no, not even, not even, not even.
But
And I also think it's. I mean, to even go farther afield in a discussion about patriarchy and gender politics, generally we're going to have. I mean, it just seems like the majority of therapists and mental health clinicians portrayed in media are not written as men.
True.
They're written as women,
True.
and then there's always this continuing, patriarchal trope that goes through that women are not, that they're not able to contain themselves, that they're not able to control themselves
Right.
and adhere to these ethical standards, which you and I in school in California, and we have the highest standards in California
Yes.
for licensure than any place else in the country, regardless if your school is APA accredited or not.
Right.
We all have to pass the same tests and the same kind of CEUs each year. So it's just unrealistic that you don't know about this.
Right.
Or that I'm sorry, that not you, that the character doesn't know
yeah.
about this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously it hits a nerve with me because of working in law enforcement psychology. But just what is it about that someone writes into a film or TV show that is going to be interesting?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I didn't think you were going to go there, but let's talk about that for 1 second. So it's the idea that somebody's creating this. It's either the script is either an adaptation of an existing work, which I think The Departed was. I think The Departed was a successful novel, but I'm not sure. Or it's just something like in the trope of a television show. It's part of the story arc that
Right.
these things happen. And although it's awesome that there are more women writers in Hollywood right now than there have ever been, and that we need more, it's still not even at the 30% mark.
Gotcha.
So those writing rooms are primarily staffed by men. So I'm just going to take a wild leap here and say and make an assumption that that's a lot of unresolved
Sure.
male shit.
Sure.
That's like, okay, how am I going to portray my character opening up to someone else? So it can't be opening up to a guy. So it's going to be opening up to a woman, and
But she's got to be hot.
she's got to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've opened up to her, we have to have sex. I
Right.
mean, like, so that discussion about sort of men not being able to deal with intimacy unless it's going to lead to physical intimacy.
Sure.
I mean, maybe that's something that needs to be
Yeah.
talked about more.
Sure, I think so. I mean, because it's not just the one, sex addict character. I mean, I kind of get that that's a piece of it.
Yeah.
But you
It's
even...
also that's low hanging fruit. Too.
Yeah,
It's like,
big
let's get
time.
some sort of hot guy, relatively hot. It doesn't really do it for me. Yeah.
No.
And get him to be this sort of, out of control guy. And then they resolve it. They like resolve it within 2 episodes that he's contained.
Right.
Because he went to, I don't know. It pisses me off.
Yeah. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the Bike Patrol, the department where I work at. You know who you are, because they reminded me of also Bad Boys 2, where Will Smith goes to see a therapist.
Who's his therapist in that? I don't remember.
It's a real quick flashback. But Martin Lawrence sees his therapist, and she's kind of the stereotypical older therapist, buttoned up, glasses, bun in her hair. And then Will Smith gets the hot Latina that's going to do quote unquote therapy with him. But anyway, they reminded me of that one too.
Okay.
And yeah, just a little disappointment.
Yeah, well,
obviously.
and in doing research, since we got the suggestion from our colleague or from our follower, there's so much to choose from. I mean, we could have a 3-hour podcast, which we're not going to subject anyone to, but we did come up with some ones that both of us felt very strongly about, and we're going to kind of free flow it today instead of going good, bad, ugly. We'll be back and forth.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I wanted to start out with a big example of one that's not fictional, although sometimes I wish he was fictional, and that's Dr. Phil McGraw.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have some strong feelings about that. Have to give it to him as being an incredibly successful businessman, incredibly successful businessman. This is somebody who for over 20 years after collaborating with Oprah on, what was it? I think it was the hamburger scandal.
What was that?
Great. You have me on the spot now. I don't remember all of the details. What happened was, that was right at the beginning of where people were really becoming very aware of what was in their food. Mm-hmm. And Oprah had a guest on that was either a nutritionist or something, was talking about processed meats. And basically, in a nutshell, she turned to the camera and said, well, that's it. I'm never having a hamburger again. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Right. You guys don't Reddit burn me on this one.
Oprah lovers.
Yeah. But what happened was she got sued by the American.
Oh, that's right.
Not agriculture, but it was like the
meat version.
The meat version. It was some kind of association of cattle farmers.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was in Texas, and they took her. I mean, it was a huge lawsuit, and which I think was ridiculous because that didn't affect the industry at all, and most of our sales of beef go overseas anyway. Right. So what difference does it make? But Phil McGraw at the time was a consultant for a firm, for a firm in Texas, mm-hmm. and he was highly recommended as, how are you going to spin this? And has a doctorate in psychology,
right?
And that was the beginning. I think actually apparently she kept him waiting. This is this anecdotal story, is that she kept him waiting while she was very busy, very busy, very busy. And he kind of got up after, I think, waiting close to an hour and walked over to the assistant and said, well, you can tell her she wants to talk to me. Give me a call. I'm out of here. My time is valuable, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the assistant scurries off, and then he was allowed in. And I think that there was sort of this power to power meeting.
Right.
But with my view is there's some pathology there. But look, I mean, I'll tell you, my beef with him has to do a lot with our, I didn't mean it. One of my problems with him has to do with the fact that he has done some unethical things, and at one point lost his license and was fined by the state as a result. And
what was the loss of license for?
it was about crossing a boundary. It was like having a relationship. Either he was dating a former client or he hired. I don't want to speak out of turn. I mean, it's a matter of public record, and I don't want to spend. But
yeah,
I mean, my main problem is that and I do respect this. It's like a show is a show. It's entertainment, and you've got to keep viewers in. So how do you keep viewers in, and how do you keep it interesting? Because ultimately, what people don't realize is that, when you're in therapy and you're the star of your own show, it doesn't feel boring. It can feel a lot of things. It can feel frustrating. It can feel, but the actual watching of the process is watching two people talk.
Right.
And that's not inherently interesting.
Right.
Right. So how do you keep it interesting? You have sort of salacious and
And if you're unlicensed, then you're not adhering by any guidelines.
Exactly.
You have a doctorate, so you can call yourself doctor. But
and there's also issues like follow-up. Like, the metaphor I use in session, and this is not avoidable, but a lot of times in session I have to say, I want to be very careful about unwrapping a package that I can't put back together. I can't promise you that every week you're going to walk out feeling better. There are some weeks you're going to feel very bad. But at 50 minutes into a session, which is 1 minute before the session ends, we're not going to start talking about something that then opens up Pandora's box.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering what's going to be happening to you for the rest of the afternoon or evening.
Right.
So I don't think there's a lot of backup and support on the show. They say that there is for follow through, but
can you imagine what that consent form looks like?
Oh my gosh.
Probably like, you are going to walk out, you can walk out of here damaged, whatever. I mean, I'm sure people just sign it all away.
Yeah, I mean, for Jerry Springer, they do. For a lot of people on some shows like that, it's the first time they've ever been on an airplane. It's the first time I've ever stayed in a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Phil is a little higher grade,
right.
But one of the things, and I've seen two things that stick out. I mean, and this is two things over the handful of times I've watched the show. There was one years ago about a set of parents, very, very conservative, very religious, and they had, they just could not accept that their adult son was gay. They just could not accept it. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Phil, and you might not know where I'm going with this, but Dr. Phil kind of got in their face with his little folksy thing and saying, you need to accept him and da-da-da-da-da, and really shamed them. And I had a problem with that. I had a problem with that as a gay man,
right? Because
yes, that son deserves better treatment. However, these two people in their mid-50s, coming from a very limited perspective, this is all they know. Every fiber of their being, every tenet of their faith is built on the fact that their son, who they love, is going to go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
So that really angered me that for one, that they would approach it this way on the show.
Right. And just like a confrontation is going to fix it.
Exactly. Like a confrontation's not going to fix that. In fact, just, all you've done is now shame these people on television. There are a lot of ways that could have been done better.
Yeah.
There could have been, an organic conversation that maybe wouldn't have been as interesting, but would have been a lot more therapeutic. And that really turned my stomach,
mm-hmm.
And, you want the best for the parents, and they didn't come across as particularly bad people or malicious. Right. They were just, this is their perspective, And the other one was more recent when he had Shelley Duvall on, who is an actress. For those of you who don't know, Shelley Duvall is an actress that her most famous and defining role was as Jack Nicholson's wife in The Shining.
Love her.
And yeah, she's
Olive Oil.
Yeah, she was in Olive Oil. She had her own amazing PBS television show that was live action fairy tales for kids. It was an amazing show. Was a very gifted woman. And something has happened along the way, and I'm not, like we were saying earlier, I'm not going to conjecture on what, if there's any diagnostic stuff going on there, but the woman was not in good shape. Yeah. I mean, she was physically looked ill and morbidly obese, and the tone of her skin was horrific. I mean, it's also like they didn't make any effort to make her look presentable.
Oh.
And she may have been hallucinating or responding to internal stimuli. We don't know. We don't know what it is. But I thought that is absolute exploitation.
Absolutely. I mean, what would spark interviewing her after all of these years?
It was you know what? It was I think it was following up on the death of Robin Williams. Maybe that was it.
Okay.
And it was just really sad. So that's probably my of real life therapists that are in the media, that one, and Keith Abloh, who I think is just a very problematic individual. But what about you?
Those are really the biggest ones as far as real life, type individuals. So I don't know. I think I always question, especially with the reality shows, when they're in, who was it? I can't remember. There's been so many reality shows though, where the person goes into therapy and now that part is being filmed, and
yeah, I mean,
that always makes me cringe.
It does. And I know, and all of our Facebook friends or our colleagues that are on the mental health subgroup Facebook post, which is a wonderful, wonderful resource for me. We have a lot of discussions about these things. Like Dr. Drew comes up.
Sure.
And,
sure.
but, and there are some things recently in the last couple of years that he's made commentary on people that I found very odd. But I have to say, some of the therapy sessions that they have shown when he was doing Celebrity Rehab, I thought he had like a wonderful bedside manner.
Oh, I thought so too. I loved Celebrity Rehab.
I really liked the way he approached things, and he was practical but warm, but not treacly.
Right.
He was caring, and especially seeing him working with people that were in like immediate emergent detox trauma, see his expertise as a medical doctor and as an addiction specialist, I thought was amazing. That guy takes his work seriously. I mean,
yes.
You can say what you want to about him, but the guy takes his work very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, I don't know when he has time to sleep because he has 1 billion jobs. Doesn't he still do Loveline at K-Rock?
I think he did. I think he started again. He's like a less crazy Ryan Seacrest.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how he does it. He must be cloned, but yeah, huge Celebrity Rehab fan.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I wanted to take Tom Sizemore home with me and be like, "You'll be okay. Just get away from Heidi Fleiss and you'll be fine."
Man, that was a wild season. How long ago was that?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Remember?
I was in grad school, I think.
That was a great
07.
portrayal of a toxic relationship.
Excellent.
Like those two people should never be together, no matter how far they evolve.
Oh yeah,
they're always going to trigger, or you could watch it, and now once again we get back to editing, but the way they fell back into patterns, and you could see them shifting over the course
sneaking out to see each other, and which again, all part of the mastery of bringing them on the season together and all of that. But
and some there's probably some associate level producer going, "Hey Tom, Heidi is out in the garden. Why don't you go check?" That kind of thing that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
But to take it back to some more of the good and the bad as far as fictional portrayals, we talked a little bit about Vera Farmiga, great actress, just poorly written character, I think, as far as what the choices are.
Yeah.
Because it just I don't necessarily see that there's a balance in how these things are portrayed. What we do is we see therapists that are always crossing the line when that's got to be less than 1% that does that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and most therapists, if we look at the reasons why they lose their license, that's not even number one. I mean, confidentiality breaches are the number one reason.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily relationships. And I think all states have a little bit of different laws. So here in California, you can never have a client or a patient whom you've already had a previous relationship with.
That's very clear.
Very clear. So you cannot start being your ex-boyfriend's therapist.
Yeah.
As far as having sex with former patients,
it's the 2-year rule.
It's a 2-year rule. So
it should be at least 2 years before the relationship starts,
Yes.
but the general
And or
consensus,
turns sexual.
right? But the general consensus is that it just is not.
It should not happen.
It should not happen at all.
Yeah, it says like very unique circumstances.
But if it's going to wait
Right.
2 years, which I think is really kind of a cop out.
I think so too.
It's like a loophole to let people out because.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Is there another part of it though? Is you cannot have the intent of pursuing the relationship. You can't intend to stop the therapeutic relationship
in order to start Correct.
the physical relationship.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's why they put that 2-year rule in there. But I feel like it's written as if you accidentally run into them 2 years later on the street and then you fall magically in love with each other. Because it's like,
you know what? I'm sorry.
It's so weird.
I'm just feeling physically. I'm like actually have a physical reaction to it. I mean, you as a therapist, as a clinician, even when you're working with some of the hardcore kind of clients we've talked about working with in the past,
sure.
you do have feelings about them. You have feelings for them, and it's your responsibility to monitor, to maintain, and to regulate all of that. But
I know
the idea that something like. And apparently it used to happen a lot. I mean, we've really come a long way since the late 70s, early 80s across the U.S. We've really shored up those rules where it used to really fly loose and fast.
Right. Do you want to talk about maybe a hilarious depiction or something?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Well, there's a couple. I mean, a really good one is... okay, you know what? You know what's a great example of one that's funny and
good depiction.
But a good depiction is the movie Step Brothers, which I think is 2008. And I think,
good.
Yeah, you know, I was writing my dissertation at the time. I was so stressed out, and that movie made me laugh so hard. I must have reset my brain. I feel
like every man I know could watch that all day long and never get tired of it.
There's something about Will Ferrell that is just. He's so approachable, even when he plays these crazy, outlandish characters, Right. But his therapist, and folks, please, it's on YouTube?
Yeah, you can just find the clip on YouTube.
So just go watch his therapy session on YouTube, and it's a perfect example of a client completely having no filter, no solid sense of self. He immediately falls in love with her, and she holds the boundary really well.
Completely, she keeps
putting it back on him, right?
Yep.
But Absolutely. She does show up to the
Catalina mixer,
Catalina wine mixer,
because he told her that he was going to kill himself. So
how is he going to kill himself?
He's going to hurl himself off a cliff into shark-infested waters. And then he introduces her as his girlfriend to his parents.
Oh, right. And then Mary Steenburgen. Oh, wait. Doesn't she say, no, I'm not his girlfriend. I'm his therapist. And Mary Steenburgen goes, oh, you're adorable or something
Playing hard to get.
Playing hard to get, yeah.
And then she goes, and you're an enabler. It's perfect. So good.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go back and watch that one again. That was a really good one. But she, she has a great monologue. Not a monologue, but she has these two lines. She turns to him and she says that was very sweet because it's one of those moments where a therapist is having a moment of intimacy with their client and giving them appropriate. Does she say she's proud? I don't know if she says she's proud of what he's done, or you really did
Giving
something
some
great
validation.
here.
Right.
Exactly. She's reinforcing some positive behaviors. But then she gives this long caveat, and I want you to understand that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that we have any kind of relationship at all, even though I know you are not hearing me right now. I have to say it. It was really good.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Could you imagine having them as your patients?
Yeah. So another good one, but that wasn't funny, and this is for, if you haven't seen this movie, Ordinary People was back in the early 80s. Mary Tyler Moore, Timothy Hutton. Is it Timothy Hutton? Yeah, Timothy Hutton. Donald Sutherland plays the dad, and Judd Hirsch is the therapist, and he's amazing. This guy... Timothy Hutton, okay, he and his brother are in a storm together, they're boating, and they're more, they're teenagers, but they're experienced being on a boat. And his older brother, Bucky, they capsize the boat, and Bucky can't hold on, or Bucky. So this poor kid is just and Bucky was the golden child of the family, and the mother, oh my God, Mary Tyler Moore, America's Sweetheart, is the most cold, ice cold, angry mom. And it's very clear that her favorite child died.
Is dead. So is he going in for like trauma?
Well, he's had a suicide attempt. He's gotten out of a, what they would have called a sanitarium. It was a psychiatric hospital. And he's a good little actor. I mean, this is a long time ago. The guy's an adult now, but he is so fragile when he gets out. And Judd Hirsch, there's a scene that felt very real when just all of this emotion is coming out, and he's really decompensating. Oh, you know why? He gets triggered. This very positive, lovely young woman that he met while in the psychiatric hospital, who was like, we're going to get through this. We're not going to let these suicide attempts define us. We're going to get through it. And he calls her for support a few months later, and she has committed suicide.
Oh, God.
So he just spins out, and Judd Hirsch really holds that line between being, this appropriate mentor / parent, loving, compassionate, and completely boundaried. Although I think some people are going to disagree with me. I think some people didn't like it on the discussion board.
Oh, really?
But I thought he did a really good job. What about yours? Give an example of yours.
No, I mean, I think we would be remiss to not talk about The Sopranos.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dr.
half of that show was in the therapy room.
Yeah.
And it would, being such a long-standing television show, that's kind of rare to have a therapist as a main character.
Yeah, and
throughout.
I think I'm in a little bit of a disadvantage because it's been so long.
It has. And I wasn't a complete follower of the show. So.
I was. It was interesting because was not into those kind of mafia, those kind of crime stories at that time in my life. But I do remember being really impressed with that relationship, even though that's not the kind of therapy that I practice.
Right.
It's not my orientation as hers is.
Meaning what? Explain it. So.
Well, she was very psychodynamic. Do you remember? I mean, she was always speaking in psychodynamic terms, and I tend to work in really more postmodern narrative,
right?
With elements of analytic or underpinnings, but there were things that I thought were really, she was a solid, very well boundaried individual,
right?
And they also did. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. There was one of the storylines that I thought was great. Is she is assaulted by a man. She's sexually assaulted, raped by a guy who I think he gets off on a technicality. There was something like there wasn't enough proof or something. It doesn't follow through,
right? And
she has this realization that all she would have to do, because this is that long into the series when she knows what he does now,
sure,
and she's having to sort of deal with the fact that she is in a therapeutic relationship with somebody who has done very bad things.
Right.
And then to say, I could, her struggle is all I'd have to do is tell him who it was.
And that guy'd be taken care of.
He'd be taken care of. And she chooses not to. She makes a very tough decision to not do that, to really sit in distress tolerance. And that I thought was really well done, because it could have just as easily, for a less creative writer or a less talented writer, might have gone for something more. But then where do you go from there?
I know.
Like, as a clinician, what are you going to do?
He's now your hitman.
Yeah, exactly. How can you hold any kind of boundary if you've allowed that to happen?
Absolutely. Well, and again, kind of like the realities of that would be, of the entire relationship and show, is his psychopathy. And...
yeah. Now, should she have noticed that earlier? Do you think that there was enough?
I feel like it went a long time before the light bulb went off for her.
Well, okay, that brings up another. Okay, yeah, she should have known earlier because there's a scene towards the end of the series. I think it is. It's the last season. And this was disturbing to me because I have never had this happen. And I would, not that I'm goody two shoes by any means, but I would remove myself from a situation if this happened. She's at a dinner party with her supervisor, which is also a little creepy.
Okay.
And they're all clinicians.
Okay.
And they're all drinking. And I think her supervisor reveals, well, you're the one seeing the head of the biggest crime family.
Jeez. And
she's put on the spot, and somebody else, there's another kind of boozed up psychologist or somebody who's like,
what?
Yeah, tell us about that, And
wow.
She has a reaction to it, but then the discussion is, well, what do you think you're going to be doing with him? He's a sociopath.
There you go.
And it's like, but that scene is pivotal because it's the light bulb does come on there, and she realizes,
what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Right.
So she has to, and she ends the relationship. She doesn't really end it appropriately. I think I would have been a little more careful knowing what that guy was capable of. But
it's kind of like the Clarice and Hannibal Lecter relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's not going to harm her.
The world is more interesting with you in it, Clarice. Isn't that the line?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's, again, like the creative liberties that are taken. Would a psychopath ever seek out therapy? I don't think so. Unless they're trying to purposefully, learn how they should be acting.
True. The way they framed it, which I thought was very interesting, and I'm not sure if this was part of the development of the story arc, but he comes in because he's having panic attacks. He thinks he's having a heart attack.
Oh,
and
he's
having such severe anxiety that he completely shuts down, which is completely possible. Not all the way common for sociopaths to have that range of affective disorder.
Sure. They feel like they're going to die. They're going to get treatment for it, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But kind of the long-term sustained psychoanalytic treatment.
That there's nothing there. I mean, if when we were working in the prisons, it was a cognitive behavioral therapy and basically a discussion of what are the consequences of your actions if you continue to engage in this behavior.
Right.
So what was the next one I was going to tell you about?
You were talking about the Newsroom before we started.
Oh, Newsroom was great. Yeah. Newsroom is a show. It was 3 seasons of a series with Jeff Daniels playing sort of definitely a right of center news anchor and very powerful sort of news influence in politics. And it's written incredibly well. It's by the creator of The West Wing and Sunset 66. Was it Sunset or Studio 66 on the Sunset Strip, which only lasted 2 seasons, which was another wonderful. Okay, now I'm blanking on what his name is, and it's like all of you who are out there in entertainment are going to like think I'm such a dork.
Look it up.
Newsroom. But anyway, he has a scene very early on, and I think it's in the first season, where he really starts to be overwhelmed by, I think he was like attacked or something. So he goes, it's Aaron Sorkin is the creator. Yeah, Aaron Sorkin, who does wonderful dialogue. But he runs over to his therapist's office that he has not seen in years.
Oh, really?
And he's banging on the door, and this guy answers the phone. Answers the door, and he says, I'm looking for Dr. So-and-so. Where is he? Well, that's my father. He's retired or died or something. And it's David Krumholtz, who was a child actor. He's been around for years. And I'm telling you that.
So he takes him on as a client?
He does take him on as a client, and it's really challenging because Jeff Daniels is so used to being in control and in charge. He wants it to, he wants therapy to go his way. And he wants this guy basically to be on call for him, or he has to keep telling him, you can't just walk in here. You have to make an appointment, and you have to come week to week. And but he does make some caveats for this person that's really, is starting to decompensate. But David Krumholtz really, Yeah, he's a good actor, and I really liked his portrayal. It's warm and caring and very firm and boundaried.
Oh, good.
I thought it was
Another
really
good one.
Yeah. So do you have a bad one?
Well, how about our favorite, like, ridiculous movie from the 80s, Color of Night? Which, if in the first 10 minutes you don't know what is happening,
It's
what's wrong
so
with you?
bad. It's so bad. And you wait, but we also have to. He's a therapist, but he's not the therapist
Right.
of that character, right? Because they're in group therapy together. Doesn't he have a trauma? Bruce Willis. Okay, Bruce
so
Willis
Bruce Willis.
is a psychiatrist.
Yes,
and
and
he-
a colleague is running a group therapy.
On the East Coast, like he's like getting away from his trauma, and like something happened
Yes.
where he was so traumatized by. I'm sorry, folks, I shouldn't laugh. I should laugh. He's so
Trauma's a
traumatized.
terrible thing.
It is. Trauma is horrible. He's so traumatized by his wife's death that he can't see the color red.
Is that a real thing?
It's
I've
some,
never heard
it'd
it.
be like, maybe like sort of prosopagnosia where you can't recognize someone's face. I don't know.
Why did I
maybe.
forget that part? It's called Color of
Color Night. So,
Oh my
but then he
God.
goes into this group therapy to address the trauma. And once again, it's, I don't even know what writers think group therapy is when you're getting this completely. And group therapy works best when it's generally like a homogenous. There are things
Yes.
that you do as a therapist when you're constructing your group, figuring out if it's the right person to be in that group that's going to interact well.
Correct.
And-
like you do screenings, you
Oh, yeah.
pick, so it's very, very cohesive.
And it's just never portrayed. I mean, I love Bob Newhart. The Bob Newhart show, that's how old I am, folks. The Bob Newhart show was wonderful, but you would never have those people in group
Right.
therapy
So he
together.
takes over a therapy group that his friend was running, but his friend gets killed.
No, he was in it, and his friend gets killed, and then they keep meeting, right?
No, he takes over his murdered friend's therapy group.
Okay, well, let's okay, for one thing, let's just talk about
According to IMDb.
licensure across state lines.
Well,
That's
yeah, you can't fly to a different state and just start therapy.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Because it's like, who's the killer? And the killer must be somebody in the group.
Right.
Isn't Leslie Ann Warren one of the...
Leslie Ann Warren is, she's awesome.
She's awesome in everything.
That woman should work all the time. She's hilarious. She was in Clue.
I know.
Remember,
we
you and
got
I-
to see...
We got to see her. We
Yes.
dragged your wonderful husband and wonderful daughter to Hollywood Forever Cemetery to watch Clue.
And she was there and did a
was
little intro to the movie.
But she's not at least her character is interesting and believable.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a kleptomaniac, and is she a
She a sex addict too?
I think she may be a sex addict, but I think her
Relationship
portrayal,
addict or something like
yeah,
that.
like maybe codependent. But there's supposed to be a young.
Boy.
So here's the thing: is like this is like, especially looking at it through the lens of it's now over 20 years ago. Looking at this, their portrayal of a trans individual is really bad.
Oh, horrible makeup. Okay, it was 1994.
Yeah, it was awful, and they
Thought it was
put.
the 80s. Jesus.
But they put there's it's sort of almost like like a Shakespearean comedy where you're supposed to
Yes.
accept that, like, oh, I don't know that this is the same person, that this teenage boy is not a sexy woman in another scene.
Right,
And it's
right.
just laughable. And the fact that Bruce Willis isn't onto it. Well, no wonder you didn't know you were dead in Sixth Sense. you
You
can't
couldn't
figure
figure
this
out
out.
the killer in Color of Night.
Bruce, get it
it's
together.
terrible.
Get it together.
But it's more of just a ridiculous movie,
Yeah.
I guess, and it happens to have a therapist in it. But yeah, there's clearly many, many issues with it.
So but do you know it won I think it won the Golden Raspberry that year for being the
Certainly
worst
should
movie of
have.
the year. We should watch that again. Maybe
Oh
we can
my
do
God.
maybe we can have it make it
Such a
into
good
a
one.
drinking game or something.
Done.
So okay, here's one that is a wonderful recent movie. A really great movie and great actors, and the therapist does something really amazing and then it goes really wrong.
Okay.
And it's the movie 50-50 from, maybe 5-6 years ago with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. And I'll tell you what I really like about the movie is this is two two friends, early 20s. No, I guess they're like mid 20s. One's sort of working on his career, has a flaky girlfriend and a stoner best friend, and he gets diagnosed with a tumor on his spine. And it's really serious, and I think 50-50 is like his chances of living.
Right,
that's
very
what
terminal.
the whole thing is about.
Sure.
So his girlfriend, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who I just can't. The only thing I like her on is that episode of Black Mirror. That's
Dear
the only.
God.
She was really good in that, but she bugs the hell out of me. In
What
everything
was the
else.
movie that we watched at your house that one night that she was in that was so awful?
What was it?
Was it a Matt Damon movie?
Where he plays the psychic.
Yes.
It's like she was in a completely different movie.
She was so bad.
She was so bad. Like it was like, is she reading a different script?
Oh
or
my God,
it was
the
awful.
poor thing. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
forgot about that one. But you were great in Black Mirror. I thought that was like phenomenal.
Okay.
Anyway, she plays a really terrible woman that, I'm doing air quotes here, can't handle her boyfriend's illness. So she just kind of runs away. So his support system is kind of falling apart, and he seeks out counseling and gets an intern played by Anna Kendrick.
Right.
And what I like about what the movie did was you see this incredible relationship grow between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen, which I don't think that we see enough healthy,
Emotionally
intimate relationships between heterosexual men.
Right.
I mean, this was these guys absolutely loved each other,
Yes.
and Seth Rogen has a scene. Anyway, I highly recommend seeing it. It's really well done, and you get to see actual character development and arcs and people growing as individuals. I thought that was really well. Now, what's wrong with it? Or wait, here's another thing that was really good is that Anna Kendrick plays this intern, like a trainee.
Right.
And her level of awkwardness, I thought, was so spot on, because she's right in that beginning stage of working in like a clinic, or working as someone's associate. So she's a little bit more affordable.
And here you get a client that's
like
your age and going to die.
Right. Which is a very interesting, and and that's a real situation for anyone studying to be any kind of mental health clinician. Is we have people generally coming to the field older, but there are people that come in their mid to late 20s, and you're dealing with major life-changing events and trauma. And so she does something. This is a dead giveaway, and I was like, who wrote this? Because it really pissed me off. Is that she awkwardly reaches across and places her hand on his knee. Her acting choice of it was really good, because she does it very mechanically.
Right.
And he goes, "What was that?" And her response is, that's kind of what I'm supposed to do. It's supposed to be comforting.
Touch should help in a situation like this.
Yeah, which is, you can touch someone in a therapeutic relationship. You can touch someone with your eyes.
Right.
You can convey
Right.
that compassion and that support without touching without putting your arm around them or anything like that, because you're there in that moment. So that I was like, ruh-roh, what just happened there? And then, of course, 2 scenes later, they're in a relationship. And at the end, after his cancer, his surgery's been successful, and,
He's going to live.
He's going to live, and everything's now shot in this glowing kind of amber light. He's happy, and he has like a real girlfriend. And I'm like, but wait, you were just glossing over the fact that this young woman basically just did the biggest transgression that you can do in a relationship. And once again, here I'm catching myself saying this young woman. So I'm catching myself saying, like, why do we have another woman in this position being written this way and being portrayed this way?
Right.
So that's my rant on that one. What do you think?
I think it's interesting because it went so well and then again got fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. It's going in the right direction.
Me thinking, oh good, this will be a good portrayal. And there are young female therapists. I mean, my entire cohort was women. We had 2 guys, and they're out there and they're getting work, but just the sexualization of it all is just, I don't know. I mean, which came first? Is it media sexualizing it? And then, I think, well, is that going to be embedded in people's heads? Are they going to walk in my office now and think that? Or is it one of those professions that kind of has that weird stigma to it, like a librarian, or I don't know.
Well,
it's just it's so many different thoughts for me.
Yeah, it brings up a lot, and it's one of the things that I think is, using dancers as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dancers are highly trained artists,
right?
And yet they are portrayed in media as being, just one step away from hookers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely unfair. It's just a stereotype that we do. And that really should fall on writers to be more creative.
Yeah.
And more honest. Right. But once again, many writers are they are expressing their perspective on something. Yeah. And maybe we need to crank this open a little bit more.
And I mean, just the diversity of therapists that are out there. I mean, God, no 2 are alike. They definitely don't fit into the category of
not at all
hot bombshell or old, buttoned up lady with glasses and hair pulled back.
I thought, of course, I don't think I've only seen Meryl Streep do one movie, 2 movies that I didn't care for. But there's one where God, what was it called? It's with her and Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman is her client, who's a woman who's in her late 30s, has come out of a toxic relationship. So she starts dating like a 23-year-old who is Meryl Streep's son.
Oh.
And she actually handles it really well. Like, she's really distressed by it. And she has mixed feelings because she wants her client to continue to individuate. But she also has to sit with, she does have a problem with the age difference, even though as a therapist, she doesn't have a problem with the age difference. When it comes to her own son, she does. It's interesting.
She should have passed her on to a different therapist.
Yeah, she probably should have.
Yeah,
she probably should have. But you know how they get around that? She doesn't figure it out until really late in the movie. In the movie. She doesn't figure it out until late in the movie.
So should we end with something from one of our followers on Facebook that wanted to know about a therapist's opinion on a particular character? And I can't answer this question because I don't watch Star Trek.
Well, I knew something was wrong with you. I just knew something was wrong with you.
So this is from Kelly on Facebook, and she says, I've always wanted to know a real therapist's opinion about Counselor Troy from Star Trek Next Generation. But I guess that's neither current nor crime related, which I told her it does not have to be.
It doesn't have to be, because it was filmed here in LA at Paramount Studios.
Oh,
so I do have some an opinion on this.
Tell us about Counselor Troy, because I don't know who that is. Is it a man or a woman or?
Oh God, how are we friends?
Because I'm a Star Wars fan, so I do not watch Star Trek.
And I'm not. I mean, like it's just never clicked for me. But I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Okay,
I'm a huge Star Trek fan. So in Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I believe, I just moved to Chicago, so it premiered in 84, 85, maybe. Yeah, I think 85. Maybe 86. This is the one with Patrick Stewart as Captain Jean-Luc Picard. And they have a Counselor Troy, Deanna Troy, played by an amazing English-Greek actress, Marina Sirtis. And the way it's set up is that she's a mixed race, or she's mixed species. Species or race. She's half human, half Betazoid, And stop smirking at me.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, did you do a dissertation
before?
before?
If you could just have seen the look on her face, just disdain for this information I have.
I'm blown away.
Okay, so anyway, she comes from a planet that the inhabitants are all they speak, but they're also fully telepathic, and the primary form of communication is telepathy. And it's a very open and liberal and progressive society because
you kind of have
you can't hide anything, really. So, like, one of the running jokes is that marriage ceremonies are held in the nude.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of nudity on the planet. And I think her father was human, and so Counselor Troy says because she's half Beta Z, she doesn't have full telepathy except with other Beta Zs. So she can communicate with her mom telepathically and other Beta Zs. But with other species, she's just a very skilled empath, which would be a pretty great superpower to have
as a therapist,
is that someone might be telling you something, but you're able to read and, sort of parallel experience their emotional state.
Gotcha.
And she uses that throughout the series. Pretty interesting. They write her in. In fact, they developed her character more towards the end of the series, using her abilities in very creative ways, which was really great. But she's the ship's counselor, and there's one. They don't show her doing it all the time, providing counselor, but she is really great. Like, the captain will say, well, how do you think this is going to affect the crew members, and what's the general feeling? And sometimes she'll say, well, I can tell you what my Beta Z side is telling me about everyone on the ship and what they're feeling. There's a lot of fear. There's this. But she also, is trained and degreed as a counselor.
So she's like the psychological consultant as well as providing clinical services. Absolutely.
And I thought one of the greatest examples, which was a very interesting device for the show, was that they're in some anomaly in space that affects her ability to use her empathic abilities, and she's still carrying on doing her therapy. But even the way she says, she said, what if you suddenly couldn't see color? This is what I'm experiencing right now, as I only
just
have...
like Bruce Willis and Sorry.
Exactly. But she only has half of her abilities. And but what was interesting is her saying, or someone pointing out to, is like, you're still trained, you still have training, you're still good at this.
Right.
And this is, because you don't have this ability right now doesn't mean that you don't have insight. And then they show how she is, like, she
kind of gets over that.
She does, because she's counseling one of the characters that's just come out of a really bad breakup, and then comes in like sort of a day later and says, everything's great, I've met somebody new, he works down in engineering, we got this great relationship. And she's like, I know I don't have my superpowers, but that's a little quick to be recovering from a relationship, which is kind of the same kind of question we would ask in a therapy session, of like, or an observation we would make, like,
let's take a look at this.
Let's take a look. You guys are connecting a little quickly there, aren't you?
Right. I like that.
Yeah. So she did a really great job, and I geeked out. I was at a birthday dinner one night and was seated next to Marina Sirtis, and she's amazingly beautiful, like stunningly beautiful, and really sweet, and is like so not. I think we're also going to have to... We'll talk about this more in our stalking episode, too. Because, we as people on the other side of the screen watching... We project attributions onto these characters and the actors that we think play them, like people thinking Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually Buffy. Right. And she's not. She's a mom of 2 kids, and, but she was lovely.
Were you already a clinician when you...
Yes, I was.
Next to her?
I had my master's then, and it was...
How neat.
Yeah. I wanted to pretend not to know her, like, and you're who? And you're where? Like, what a lovely accent you have. And I didn't. I was like a red-faced and stammering, like, I'm a huge fan of the show. I completely turned into...
Let me tell you your biography.
In that episode, like, where you did this, that was totally me.
And you're half Greek, and...
Oh, yeah, creepy. I know everything about you. So yeah, I think she was a
Cool.
really good representation of a therapist. But it's also, literary. We have to have some literary leniency or creative license in it because it's supposed to be 300 years in the future, and
Sure.
societies look different, and
Sure.
what's privacy going to be like when we're surrounded by telepaths?
Right. Right. Good note to end on.
Yes. Okay, so what else did we want to say? Oh, I wanted to say something so cool that happened to me this weekend. I was back south, seeing my family that live in the Atlanta area, and I was able to meet someone who's a big fan of the show. So Heather Tuggle, I had the best time talking with you, and I took copious notes of your suggestions for future shows. So we are going to very soon be focusing on why people are drawn into cults.
I love it.
I think it's a great idea. It's very timely right now, so we will talk about that.
That sounds like a great future episode. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, folks, you can reach us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram.
And then our email is la.soconfidential@gmail.com.
Yes.
So feel free to send us more suggestions of topics that you would like to hear about.
And let us know what you think about a Facebook Live. What we're thinking about doing on our Facebook page in the next month or so is recording one of our sessions live. I haven't done it yet, so we're gonna have to figure it out how to do it.
Yeah.
But tell us if that's something you'd be into, and if you would be into it, how would you help get us as many viewers as you possibly can? That would be great.
Yeah, please rate and subscribe to us on iTunes. That would help us out a lot. And other than that, we will see you next time on LA
Not so.
Confidential.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.